Coffee has captivated the nation like no other beverage. With 400 million cups consumed per day in America, the average American spends more than $1,000 a year on coffee, making it one of the most popularly traded goods.
Coffee brings everyone together, whether it's like on a global way or just in a social aspect. I think that's one of the reasons why I like starting this, was because it's very socially active.
While coffee isn't new to society, a movement to garner fair trade coffee is. This is coffee that secures reasonable wages for farmers. However, not all coffee drinkers are aware of its prominence.
I think the movement would take off more if it had more of a presence. Whereas like right now, I feel like it is present in some places, but it doesn't have as much like fame.
If a company like Starbucks wanted to make a cup of coffee that was fair trade and absorb that extra cost, because they certainly could, and sell that same thing for like what consumers are used to paying or something very close, that would help it take off.
Well, if some of the big brand names in the United States would even just start selling one or two fairly traded objects, that'll bring more light to the whole topic.
The difference between people wanting to support fair trade coffee and their willingness to do so could be vast.
I don't know. I feel like there's sort of an inelasticity to Starbucks sales. People usually want to pay for the brand of Starbucks. So if they started offering alternatives, I don't feel like more people would like stop buying from them. I feel like it would actually bring in sales.
It gives people more of a reason to go actually pay that extra buck. And coffee is really cheap right now anyways, so I think people like every once in a while wouldn't mind.
I think it's kind of like a buzzword, you know. It's kind of like organic.
Yeah.
And
then is it really organic? Or
yeah.
Is it, you know?
I think it's good. I think it's better to, I guess it's like cuts out the guesswork.
The guesswork is caused by some of the mystery surrounding the production of coffee. Many people aren't aware of the harsh nature of work that goes into a standard cup of joe.
It's a huge chain that buys like, 100,000 pounds or more of coffee at a time. They're gonna look at that and be like, well, we can get this one that's not fair trade and pay like this much for this much, or we can get fair trade and pay this much for this much. And it's like kind of clear when you're working with that kind of volume.
Many sectors of corporate America are taking part in that violence. Free trade probably benefits the person who's buying the goods and seldom benefits anybody else. But we live in a democracy and we use the word free. Free for us always has a positive connotation. But when it comes to that phrase, free trade, it doesn't necessarily it's not necessarily a good connotation for the people who are the recipients who are on the other side.
Reporting for Section 2, Group 8, I'm Andrew Vlasic, Philadelphia.